everyone. Welcome. Happy Monday. Really excited to be here with you today. I have been looking forward to this episode for a really long time, and I know many of you have too, because I am in the cutest place on the planet, the San Diego Kitten Nursery. That's right. Daryl knows that no one's here to see me. We are here to see the kittens. So this is a really, really amazing place we have here at San Diego Humane Society. This Kitten Nursery opened in 2009, and we have helped over 12,000 kittens since we opened. Sorry, Daryl is looking at me and saying how cute they are, and I can't take it. I know, so there's gonna be lots of cuteness today, my friends. So we have helped over 12,000 kittens since we opened in 2009, and we can do this. Did we lose it? Okay, there we go. I think we're back. So we can do that because of your support. We have so many fosters. We have so many caregivers. We have so many people who donate to help our kittens. So we're going to get to meet all different ages. What I'm going to tell you right now, which is most important, is none of the kittens that you see today are ready for adoption just yet. They stay in our kitten nursery until they're about 8 weeks old, until they're ready to be adopted and have their spay-neuter surgery, and then ready for a family. So we're going to be meeting all sorts of, this one on his back is cracking me up, Daryl. So we're going to be meeting some as young as just a few days old, and then these here are in their weaning phase. This is really interesting. You'll see here, Daryl, on all of the kennels, it'll tell kind of where they're at. So we have weaning phase 1, weaning phase 2. We're going to meet some neonates and some transitional ones. Look at them figuring out how to go up and down, use litter boxes. So much cuteness today. So like I said, our kitten nursery is an amazing place. It was the first of its kind in the entire country. And that means that we were the first kitten nursery to be open 24 hours a day, staffed to help the kittens. Because when kittens are really young, they have to be fed every 3 hours. So we have people working round the clock. And when I say open, unfortunately not open to the public, open to the caregivers, because they are very susceptible to disease in here and germs. So we have to make sure that we are keeping everybody safe and healthy. I don't know if you'll see these little wires right here, Miss Daryl, you can show them. That is our kitten cam. So if you like what you're seeing, we move the location of the kitten cam every once in a while, and you'll be able to watch and get a peek at the kittens while they're playing and growing. So this area of our nursery is for queens and kits. So a queen is a mama cat. That's what she's called, which is really cool. So you'll notice that we are relaxing, sometimes taking a little nap from their babies. So we love it when a mama cat is found with their kittens because they get to do all the work. They're better at being moms than we are, that's for sure. They know how to do their job. So you'll see that the different kennels have different coverings. So you can see right here it says go slow, shy, fearful. So a lot of these cats who came in might have been community cats who weren't really well socialized. And then you have this one who has the friendly label, and you can see she's very friendly. She's following me around. She's very cute and sweet. So we go based on what they want, because we're not going to go be approaching mama cats and doing anything that they don't want to. Oh my gosh, here's a cute one, Miss Daryl. They have, do you see all the little cats in the litter box? So they're blending in with their litter, but that's pretty darn cute. So these kittens, it's amazing. Kittens know how to use a litter box. I think at about 4 weeks old. We're going to ask Ben, our kitten expert, about 4 weeks old. So there we go. So when they first are born, they don't know how to do that, obviously, and mama cat helps them. Oh my gosh, look at this sweet little gray one here. You guys, there's going to be so much cuteness today. Section, you will see how many supplies it takes to care for all of these kittens. I'm going to remind you at the end of this about our Amazon wish list, because we need so many supplies to keep this going. You'll see this section is closed off right now. We're just starting kitten season, so we're just getting in some kittens. What's really interesting is if you work here in the kitten nursery, we have this section not yet open. So when you are a caregiver in the nursery, you only work in one section. So you're not going to go from section to section, because you want to make sure you're keeping the germs, and if there's an outbreak of a disease, it'll stay in one section. So that's why we do that. So this, Miss Daryl, is where all the action is happening right now. Okay, Daryl, stop looking at anything else but go here right now. So this is an adorable one. So I'm going to also turn over. This is Ben. He's our nursery supervisor.
Hello.
And he's the expert here today. So he's going to help us with some information and tell us maybe about how old this ridiculous kitten is. And thank you for having us in here, Ben.
So we're watching yesterday, I believe. And she's probably, what do we think, Lisa, a couple days old? And Stacy mentioned the experts. I'd like to shout out our caregivers, the real experts here who take care of all these tiny little guys every day around the clock. And so what we can see she's doing is she's grooming Amari with her hand as she's feeding her on the bottle there. That can be learned, but it takes quite a while to master, and be very, very good at this. It makes it look very easy there. And so what she's done is she's let Amari drink as much as she wants, and once Amari releases the nipple, Lisa then goes to stimulate our kitten there, because kittens this young cannot go to the bathroom on their own. They need to be stimulated at each feeding. So we do this at each feeding for all these kittens every 2 to 3 hours for the neonatal kittens like Amari, and that's going to be kittens 0 to 2 weeks of age.
So Ben, I thought that was really interesting. I didn't know that when I first learned about this. So normally the mama cat would be licking the kitten, right? So licking, and that would stimulate them to go to the bathroom. So if mom doesn't do that, then they don't go to the bathroom on their own, right?
Yes, so the kittens don't have the ability to go to the bathroom on their own. They are going to be stimulated at each feeding, like we just said, and mom would typically do that with her tongue. We do it with cotton balls, Kleenex, tissues, wet wipes, and not our tongues, obviously.
Perfect. And I don't know if anybody noticed what Lisa just did. She took a toothbrush and was brushing the kitten.
Yes.
So if you've ever been licked by a cat tongue, you know it's a little rough.
Yes.
So that toothbrush kind of replicates that tongue for them, right?
Yes, exactly. The toothbrush is going to replicate mom's tongue grooming the kitten, so they have that natural feel. We do everything we can here in the nursery, but nothing, in nature, nothing replicates mom. So. Of
course. So I think we did have a question, Dariel.
Yeah, a question about how you can volunteer to become a foster. So maybe
Okay, so
touch on that.
the question about how you volunteer to be a foster. Do you want to take that one, Ben?
Yes, yeah, you would go to sdhumane.org and sign up to become a foster. We have a ton of our active fosters stepping up right now and taking on the kittens that are in need. They're landing here in the nursery and going out to foster homes, but if you are still interested in joining our waitlist to foster, you can go to sdhumane.org and sign up there to become a foster.
So this would be a neonate phase, right, Ben?
Yes, exactly.
So what does that mean, a neonate?
So a neonatal kitten is the first stage, the youngest stage of kittens that we have in the shelter. That's going to be 0 to 2 weeks of age. So we can see Amari here. Her eyes are not open, and if we can have Lisa hold her up. Her eyes are not open, her ears are not quite open, and you can see she's got a little bit of her umbilical cord still attached. It's dried, and it will fall off on its own. But these kittens need to be bottle fed and stimulated every 2 to 4 hours, depending on the age, and require the most round-the-clock care of any of the kittens that we have in the nursery.
So basically that means with their eyes are closed and their ears are closed, that they're essentially blind and deaf when they're born.
Yeah, so they rely a lot on us to provide them everything that they need, and they're not quite able to. They can crawl around a little bit, but they can't quite navigate very well.
And they can have hiccups.
And they can have hiccups, though. Yes, as
Oh,
Lisa
she
pointed
has
out.
the hiccups. She's got a full belly.
Yes.
So I imagine that they also then wouldn't be able to regulate their own temperature. So what do we do for the neonates?
That's correct. I can show you a setup that we have, and actually Lisa under
hiccups.
here has a heat pad under this pillowcase here to keep Amari warm during feeding time. But the kittens here in our cubbies, I'll introduce you guys to Zeke now. So this is where the neonatal kittens live. Make sure Zeke doesn't spill out. So if you guys want to come take a look, back here in his cubby, and he's got a heat pad as well under his bed here. So these guys are on heat at all times, and you can see the heat pad running up the back there. And Zeke is ready for his next meal as well.
So as you can see, my friends, we're all wearing masks. We're all keeping safe here at the shelter with our social distancing. So we're trying to get everybody in, but we also want to make sure you see those kittens. So how long is the neonate stage, Ben?
That's going to be 0 to 2 weeks of age.
0 to 2 weeks, okay. Oh my gosh, so what do we have here then?
So then these guys just down to the right of Zeke's cubby, these guys right here, are going to be our transitional age kittens. So you can see they have a much different setup than Zeke. These guys' eyes are open, and I'm going to switch gloves while we're talking so I can pull one of these guys out. Eyes are open, ears are open. They're taking in the world and attempting to use litter boxes, starting to eat some kibble and some wet food. They are still getting a bottle at each feeding, but they're only eating about every 4 hours now, so not quite as intensive as a feeding schedule, and they're starting to become a little bit more playful and rambunctious.
So Ben, how do they know to use a litter box?
It's just instinct. These guys are proving to not quite have the best instincts, so we actually have an extra litter box in there, and we have them locked out of their cubby because they've not been using the litter box as well. But typically they run on instinct and will just know to use a litter box, and most of the time they will cover it up, and that's, I believe, a leftover trait of hiding their waste from predators.
Interesting. So it's pretty amazing that it's kind of fascinating. They just know how to do that. So can we see one of those kittens?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr.
And
Ben?
actually there's another transitional kitten I want to show you guys down this way,
Sure.
Gardner.
Oh my gosh, look at all these, Dariel. You're missing
And he's being a real big kid and eating his dry food over here. Oh, we just distracted him. But he was snacking away on his dry food. I'm going to go ahead and pull him out for you guys and show you the difference. Come here, buddy. And so this is Gardner. He came into us a couple weeks ago. He was much smaller when he came in. You guys can see his eyes are open, his ears are open, and we'll show you his belly. It's now fully furry, and there is no umbilical cord attached, so that fell off him a couple weeks ago. He is probably nearing 4 weeks of age and getting ready to make a friend and go out to a foster home and get out of the nursery. So we want him to finish his time, his developmental time in a foster home as opposed to the nursery. While we have a great setup here for them, we want them to be exposed to the sights and sounds and experiences of a home.
So transitional, so they're starting the wet food and then...
Yes, we start them on wet food when they hit about 4 weeks of age, but we still feed them the bottle as well, and we wean them off the bottle slowly. If you remove the bottle feeding from them too quickly, they can experience some health troubles and lose weight and not quite grow like they should. One other indicator other than the age that we look for to feed them the canned food is we look for them to have canines. So I'm not sure if we can see here, but Gardner's got his canines and he is ready to eat some wet food. So he's a very well-developed kitten and hitting all of his milestones.
So when we talk about the milestones too, so I'm assuming we're like so what do the caregivers have to do every day? Do they weigh them and we track that?
Our caregivers are feeding and weighing the kittens daily and bathing them as needed, medicating them, giving them vaccines and dewormers, and Gardner wants to go back and play, so I'm gonna let him go back into his condo and hang out in there.
So here we have a caregiver who has a little bit older kitten than we just saw. So
Yeah.
but still kind of doing similar things, right?
Yes, yeah, Victoria is feeding kittens from that first litter that we saw down the other end of transitionals, and you can see she's got a bottle out, she's got some wet food out, she's got some wipes and tissues out. So she's doing all of the same things, just on a little bit larger scale than what we saw with Amari a little bit earlier.
And then I see another sign over here that says socialization. So this is a
Yes.
bit older
So that is our
age here?
final stage. Yeah, the socialization kittens are our final stage of kittens. These guys are eating the least frequently, and they aren't necessarily eating overnight. So most of the time they're able to go overnight without eating. They are sometimes still getting a bottle 2 to 3 times daily. They're still finishing the weaning off of the bottle. And these are the most common kittens that you'll see in foster homes. You'll see, I think that is Woody there. Yeah, that's Woody down at the bottom. And he just jumped off of his shelf there. These are the most rambunctious and athletic.
So they're just starting to figure out their bodies.
They're
and
becoming
play.
little cats at this point.
There you go.
Yeah.
So when you foster, or when you see everybody is seeing here, there's always cats together. So why is that so important to keep them together as kittens?
Because they learn so much from each other. So Bo Peep and Woody here are going to learn how to play with other cats, how to be with other cats from each other. They also learn a lot from their mother as well, so that's why we encourage, if you do have a mother cat, to leave the babies with mom, like you guys saw earlier. But if we do get orphans, it's good for them to have a buddy. One of the biggest things they learn is something called bite inhibition. Cats that are raised by themselves without other kittens tend to not know that biting hurts. And so those cats more often end up biting people or other animals, and they don't quite know how to be a cat when they grow
Good.
up.
Yeah, so and puppies too, right?
Same thing
That
with puppies,
socialization
yes.
with their brothers and sisters is so
Absolutely.
important. I like to, when I'm talking to kids, compare this to younger brothers and sisters. You can get one. Oh, sorry. Having younger brothers and sisters or siblings, because if you have brothers and sisters, they kind of teach you limits too. If you're really annoying, they're going to let you know.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of how the kittens help each other, and our puppies help each other too. So it's really, really important that they stay and get that socialization time. Oh my gosh, Daryl, look at that. It looks like a little baby tiger right there, that little Wheatie. So you'll notice we have lots of cute names. So we said we had over, 1,500 kittens in the nursery last year?
Yes.
So that means we have to come up with 1,500 names. So we have to get really creative around here sometimes. We'll do themes.
There's a lot
I think
of
we just did our
inspiration.
toilet paper litter, right?
Yes, yeah, there's a lot of inspiration from TV shows, from current events, so hence the toilet paper litter.
Yes, yes, so yes, following along. So here we have Lisa again. Oh my gosh, look at that little speckled belly. So how old would this kitten be, Ben?
I'm sorry?
How old would this kitten be about?
She's probably nearing 3 weeks of age, or about 3 weeks of age. Yeah. Can I see the teeth there, Lisa?
Oh, yeah.
If she'll cooperate with us. So we're just starting to see, yeah, incisors and canines start to poke through, so a little over 3 weeks of age for this kitten here. We use teeth, ears, eyes, and the umbilical cord, depending on if they're young enough to give us an approximate age for them. Unfortunately, they don't come with a birth certificate, so we do have to sometimes take an educated guess based on, like I said, teeth, ear development, eye development, and some other factors.
So when we say 1,500 kittens came in here last year, that's a lot of kittens. So
Yes.
where are 1,500 kittens coming from?
So there are community cats out in probably everybody's neighborhood right now, whether they're seen or not, and those unaltered cats or unspayed or unneutered cats are out there breeding and making more and more kittens. That's why it's so important to keep your cat indoors if you can, and also spay and neuter, or get them spayed and neutered, adopt them already spayed and neutered if you can as well. That's going to help cut down on an unwanted kitten population. Everybody, of course, loves kittens. We're not saying we don't want kittens. What we're saying is we want more responsibly bred kittens, and not, not tons of unwanted orphan kittens out in the world that are, not
Absolutely.
able to be cared for.
And we only had 1,500 go through the nursery, but I think last year total we adopted out close to 9,000 kittens, I believe. I mean, so we have thousands of kittens. So yeah, so when we talk about spaying and neutering, it's the responsible thing to do because there are so many kittens already looking for homes.
Yeah.
So what if I found a litter in my neighborhood? What
So
should people do?
if you find a litter in your neighborhood, and I've had family members come to me with the same issue, is, hey, I have kittens in my yard, what do I do? I always recommend that they take regular flour just for cooking and sprinkle it around wherever the kittens are nested in. And what that's going to do is leave us a indicator of whether or not mom is coming and going. She will step in that flour, and if you see paw prints coming and going, that means mom is actively caring for those kittens and feeding them. What you can do then is make sure that that space is safe for the queen and her kittens to care for them, and then bring them in for spay-neuter at a later date when they're older. That way you're not bringing them, these very young kittens, into a shelter that may already be overcrowded or overloaded.
Okay,
Fortunately,
and also
we're not
too,
in that.
yeah, and
in that
the
position, but-
kittens this age are very fragile, right? So if you're bringing them into a shelter environment, that could unnecessarily expose them to things or maybe get them sick. So we want them, if mom's taking care of them, leave them there.
Correct. Yeah, we want them to get maternal antibodies. We want them to be able to be raised by mom, because no matter what we do, we're just not as good as nature. We're not as good as mom at taking care of these little guys. And that's why I mentioned bringing them into a shelter at a later date when they're weaned and eating on their own and able to be vaccinated, because kittens, when they're very, very young, as you guys are seeing here, some of them are not able to be vaccinated, which puts them at a greater risk of contracting an illness or disease.
And then we also want them, like Ben has said, spay and neuter. So if you're finding a mom who you can either are able to capture at one point after she has her babies, whoops, or you can rent a trap from us to humanely trap and spay and neuter. And that's also why it's really important to get those kittens in here. So we're not having more and more kittens in your communities. We want them to stop the cycle. So
yes, and we
can
do
do
have
that.
information on our website about how to care for a litter, whether there's a queen involved or not, in your neighborhood if you're able to.
Excellent. All right, Ben, is there anybody else you can take out for us to look? Maybe a little
yeah,
meat?
let me see
Any questions,
who
Dario?
else we can pull out. Let me grab another glove.
Just probably lots of comments about how cute everybody is, I hope. So reminder, these kittens will be up for adoption, but not until about 8 weeks of age. I think they have to be also a certain weight, right, Ben?
Yes, we look for, we can actually place them for adoption at 6 weeks and 1.6 pounds.
Oh, okay.
But typically they don't reach our 1.6 pound weight till about 8 weeks of age, and by then they've gone beyond that weight. But 6 to 8 weeks is when you're looking at an adoptable age for a kitten.
Perfect.
Someone was kind of asking about the adoption process. Can you speak to what the adoption process looks like right now?
Sure. Okay, so there was a question. I can answer this one, Ben, while you get a
Go
kitten.
for it.
They were asking about the adoption process. So right now we're doing a virtual adoption process, and we're really adapting with the times right now. So what you do is you go to our website, sdhumane.org, and you will sign up for a time to set up an appointment for an adoption counselor to call you. And then that's how the virtual adoption will take place. And then you can just come and pick up your new animal friend when the time is right. So all of these kittens are going to be will be available for adoption when they are ready and old enough and strong enough. So please do check back for that. But I also want to put out a shout out for our adult cats, because especially during kitten season, everyone's coming here looking for kittens. And we have those queens and mamas who sometimes go up for adoption, or the older cats who sit in the shelter and are looking for homes too. So it's always fun to get a kitten and they're super cute, but with an adult cat, you can really make a difference too. So don't forget to look at them as well. And then they're past all the kitten crazy. So oh my gosh, Dariel's not helping by just showing this cute kitten.
So here we've got Woody. He came into us a couple weeks ago with a really bad eye infection, and he's actually still getting medications for his eyes. But he is a great example of a kitten that came in rough shape and made a really big turnaround, and he's actually so energetic now that he doesn't want me holding him. But you can see he's one of our socialization age kittens, so he's about 5 weeks of age. I will try, if he will let me, to show you his teeth and why we think he's why we're aging him as a socialization age kitten. I'm not sure if we can see in there, but he's starting to get some molars, and so that's what tells us he is a 5-week-old kitten.
All right, Ben, I have a question because I don't know if this is true.
Yeah.
So are all kittens born with blue eyes?
Yes, all kittens are born with blue eyes. They start that way, and then around 6 weeks of age, they start to take on their actual color. They'll start to change. And I'm going to go ahead and put
That's interesting.
little Woody back and let him go back to his home.
So my friends, you can see we've got all different ages here. We have Lisa keep caring for her kitten. What are you writing on your hand, Lisa?
How much they ate so that I can put it down into their chart.
Interesting. So she's writing down how much the kitten ate so she can put it in their chart. So we are keeping track of everything here, making sure they're eating enough, that they're the right weight, that they're healthy.
Yeah, we have to keep
like Ben mentioned, they get meds, some of them who need them. So anything that they need, they can get here at the nursery.
Yeah, we have to keep very detailed records on how much they fed down to the milliliter, how much they weigh down to each gram, and when they ate, when they were given medications, when they were given vaccines and dewormers, and everything is charted very rigorously here.
Okay, Ben, I think down there, Daryl, too, we see a kitten who might be at a transitional stage trying to eat some wet food. Do we want to check that out?
Yeah, so we've got some kittens down here, or a kitten down here, experimenting with some of the wet food, and it looks like we're getting some mixed results, maybe trying the food, but then getting a little bit distracted. The transitional age is a very messy age of kittens to feed. They tend to get food all over their faces and all over their paws and their chest, and you can see Victoria is offering this little kitten some food on her finger and with a tongue depressor to try to get her to eat. And then we also add some of their formula into their wet food to give them a familiar taste with a new taste to try to transition them onto their new diet.
So sometimes it's a challenge to get them to start from the bottle to the wet food to transition?
Yes, yeah. Some kittens really love the bottle and they don't want to give that up, and they want to keep eating or nursing on the bottle as opposed to growing up and being a big kid and eating their wet food.
Okay, as you can see, this kitten is still learning. They're very cute. They walk in it. He has a very messy face. So that's where I see that the bathing might come in because they can't, they're not very good eaters yet, it looks like.
Yeah, so this is where some bathing might come in. Ideally, we're not getting them wet more often than we need to. If we can just do a quick wipe down with some baby wipes, that's great. But if they do need more of a bath, then we will bathe them as well. We're careful not to get their head wet. We keep it from the neck down when we bathe them.
Just like our adult cats, right, who don't really like it.
They don't always like. The kittens actually do end up they do end up enjoying a bath every now and then, and they like the blow dryer and getting warm and dry. So they do get used to it here. But yeah, your adult cat at home may not like that quite
Yes.
as much.
Not bad. So Daryl, I think there's some signs of behind Ben there. So it shows the neonate transitional socialization up there, those red,
Yeah, if we
yellow,
can see
green.
these signs, if there's not too much of a glare on them, it shows us our feeding times for our kittens. So our caregivers are, like I said, here around the clock. You can see there are some 12 a.m., 11 p.m., 12 a.m. feeding times. So it's not a joke. We are here 24/7 feeding these little guys, or our caregivers are here 24/7 feeding these little guys on 4 different shifts. And they're making sure that they're getting the proper feeding, nutrition, stimulation that they all need at each of those feeding times.
Perfect. So it's quite a process here. So we'll just maybe see, are there any over here to take a peek at, or I mean like through the cage,
These
or
condos
these are pretty
are empty right now. They're
Okay.
awaiting new residents, and we do have a few over here, so we're not quite full yet. But this is the typical setup. We like to get them set ahead of time, so when we do get new kittens, we can just get them into their new little homes right away.
Perfect. All right, Miss Daryl, there's a tub of kittens here that's pretty darn cute. And then we're going to, unless there are any questions, no questions. I think Ben gave us all the info we need. So you can see that we have a tub of kittens. How cute is that? Oh, this one's pretty vocal.
Yeah, so this one is she's waiting for her food there. And whenever we see kittens like this little one, we would call it the little screaming kitten here, we'd call it Dilute Calico. Anything that is a calico is generally going to be a girl. We have had one male calico in the past, but that is a literal 1 in a million anomaly.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. Oh, that one is trying to escape. Says it's my turn to eat.
Yeah, she's ready for her food. She's trying to cut the line and get some food. And so Cheryl's using that tub there to keep all of her kittens in order, and even then they still try to escape, but that helps her to keep them all in one place while she's able to feed one. And Carol is a very, very experienced caregiver. She's one of our mentors, so you can see she's able to feed one-handed and wrangle kittens with the other hand.
Yes, quite a talent. Especially this one is determined to get out.
Yeah,
And is
she's
very vocal about it.
Little troublemaker.
And I imagine it gets challenging when they're all black kittens, they're all the same color, to keep track of who's had what.
It definitely does. We will actually use clippers and shave a part on the kittens if we have no other distinguishing feature. And it's not going to hurt the kitten, it just gives us an identifying feature so we can see this kitten has a little shave mark above their bum. So this is kitten 1, and then the other kitten that has no shave mark is kitten 2.
Oh, interesting. I mean, that's good. I'm sure, too, if there's medical issues, you need to make sure you're giving the right medicine
Yeah,
to the right
exactly. We need to keep track of, again, weights, medications, feedings,
True.
and all of that info so we know who is who.
Perfect. So, Daryl, oh my gosh, that run really is ready. So I think okay, finally, time to eat. We do have a question.
Yeah, how do people send in donations?
Ooh, I love that. Ben, how do people send in donations?
So you can go to our website, sdhumane.org, and then I believe under the programs tab there is a link that says Kitten Nursery that links to our Amazon wish list if you would like to donate items to the Kitten Nursery.
And we need them because, like I said, this is just the start of kitten seasons. The Kitten Nursery is open all the way through November. So we never run out of a need for supplies. You see the formula, the heating pads, the feeding little plates that we cut in half, all those things, paper towels, we need everything. So that's a really great place to go, and we really appreciate anything that'll help us keep caring for all of these kittens that we come in.
Yeah, I second that. We definitely appreciate all the donations. It definitely allows us to keep feeding and caring for these little guys, and we couldn't do it without the donations that we get.
Yes. Well, thank you. So, and also if you get our San Diego Pets magazine, this issue is all about the Kitten Nursery and what we do. So this is a really good one to check out, and also gives you some tips if you're finding kittens in your area and that kind of thing. So don't forget, we also have our art contest going on. So we have submissions can come in, entries come in till May 8th. So please keep them sending in. We're getting such really cool ones. I'm going to put them right here for you to look at, Miss Daryl. I'm going to move this You can get a kitten behind him. So we have had some really cool entries come in of all ages, all different mediums. It's really cool. So we have some really cute ones. There's Charger, Humane Society Pets Rock. This one has a great message for right now, bend the curve. So make sure you're staying healthy and doing everything you can. And then this beautiful one on canvas. So we have such cool, talented artists out there. So please, please keep sending those in. That is all the way until May 8th. Please get those in. You can find out information on our website, okay? Wednesday, we're going to be back for Wildlife Wednesday, and we are going to be at the PW Center. We're going to be learning about opossums and how awesome opossums are. So please join Kate for that. And then on Friday, we did a session before with Lovejoy, who did a painting session, a painting tutorial. She is going to be painting this adorable black and white kitten on Friday. So tune in. You can use paints, you can use colored pencils, you can use crayons. You'll see you just need a few colors, black, white, yellow, and pink, unless you want to make a cool colored cat. But she'll be here on Friday to walk you through this and have your own little kitten masterpiece. So please join us Wednesday. Please join us Friday. Stay healthy out there. We're going to finish with some just cute little, oh my gosh, here's the cutest belly rub I've ever seen. A big thank you to all the caregivers here who work so hard to care for our kittens. A big thank you to Ben for joining us and sharing his expertise with us today. And that, I don't know how else you can end but with this cuteness here. So hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday, and thank you again for tuning in, and hopefully check out our website and adopt one of these cuties in a couple weeks. Bye.